the story, the storyteller for the day. Today we'll discuss about the storytelling. But before that, I need to talk about something very special, which is IIU, and which is being called as International Internship University. It is so fantastic, International Internship University, wherein students want to progress and grow a lot. They want to learn a lot. We have got a university over here, which is saying International Internship University. And it is the world's first internship based virtual university, building a better and brighter future for all young learners, and is committed to provide quality, accessible, affordable, skill based, and location independent education to learners across the world. That means we need not to go there and stay, but from any place we can access this wonderful opportunity. So IIU is providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internships to their e-learners across the globe with the team of high caliber. I must repeat this, with the team of high caliber and experienced global educators. IIU has been accredited and affiliated with the World Education Organization, that is WEO, an international accreditation organization, that is IAO, and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online course, which is called as MOOC. IIU provides various certificates and diploma courses as well. All right, so you are not only doing internship, but you have opportunity to get a lot of learnings, a lot of courses, a lot of diplomas from here. There is always that one person who has the vision, the thought, the idea behind a successful venture and organization. And if we talk about the man behind the success of IIU, he is none other than our beloved co-founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandit. So we are really, really thankful to Mr. Piyush Pandit for giving us such a wonderful platform where in very, very low cost, you have no costing of moving here and there, you have no trouble of moving here and there, and still you have this opportunity to learn and grow. So he concocted the world's first virtual internship university during pandemic. So in spite of crying, he identified the need of the hour, and he conceptualized this university, the International Internship University. So now talking about IIU, it is time that I should talk about myself also. I am Shilpi Upadhyay. I am a soft skill trainer, storyteller, parenting coach, graphologist, and an NLP practitioner. Other than that, I say that I am a life solution provider because I'm a spiritual healer also. So here I give you lots and lots of opportunities. Now, today, I am going to talk about the art of storytelling. So if someone of you is here, can we talk about the art of storytelling? That what do we mean by art of storytelling? Do we have someone from do we have someone here from the Facebook audiences who can tell me that what do we mean by storytelling before I proceed ahead? Because when this communication will be two-way, it will be great. Do we have someone? And why do we use stories? Is it always being used only to hear from our grandmothers or from our mothers to sleep? Or do we have some other objective also of having stories? So if you can all share something to me, it is going to be really amazing. Yeah? Earlier, I used to believe that storytelling is only the way which is used for listening stories for entertainment purpose. And I'm sure many of you must have been feeling in the same manner that the stories are being only used for the entertainment purpose. Yeah. So today let's break that myth. And if we have some other notion of storytelling, if we have some other usage of storytelling, I'll really love to hear it from you. So today I'll take you to a very beautiful journey of storytelling. All right. I'm just sharing the slide and I hope this is visible to you all. So just imagine from my very first slide, which says the art of storytelling. What is this art of storytelling? Just think about it. The world wherein you get into some visionary mindset, wherein you get into some image that is not there, but that visual transformation which you have. For example, if I talk about this image with you, what all you all can imagine, what all is there which can be thought by you all. Probably we can talk about there is a book on which there are lots of houses. We can even talk about that there is a tree on which probably there are some fruits and we are there to eat them. Just close your eyes, all of you, for a minute, who all are here, and just try to visualize this story. Just try to visualize this image. Because if we are starting it from here, let's start with that visualization. Let's close our eyes, all of you, everyone who is there with me, Mr. Charles, Mr. Jadugar, people from International IIU, my lovely team from IIU, all of you, I would request all of you to please close your eyes for a minute. Just think about that picture. There was a book, there was a house. Mr. Kirit Kumar Bhatt, just see this picture and try to close your eyes for a minute. Let's try to frame a story. There are few clouds, few birds are moving in the sky. Let's frame a story out of this. Let's come out with a story. And I would like to know your comments in the comment box, in the chat box, that what is it, this story which is coming to your mind. I'll count till 20. Till 20, you need to create a story out of this image. 1, 2, I am doing that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sure we all must have been creating story out of this image which is being shown here. People who are joining in now shall create a story, shall try to create a story out of this image which is here. 10, 12, 13, and at 20 we'll open our eyes. 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you so much. So I would like to ask all of you that what is that story which has come to your mind when you close your eyes? Okay, so Mr. Charles says the word of God is full of knowledge. Amazing. Anybody else? Can I hear a few more comments from here? Thank you, Inga. Hello, Gabriela. Good morning. So any more comments? Yes. So Mr. Charles says this word is full of knowledge. I believe that this is a story where some happy village is being turned to industrial area. So some greenery is going to industrial area, probably. Or there can be a story where we can talk about that the old city is turning to a new city and both are mingling and taking each other hand in hand. Mr. Kirit Kumar Bhatt says, a beautiful, well-developed village. See, this is what is storytelling. This is what is storytelling. I have given you no conclusion, but you have your own perceptions. The first benefit, without going to the slide of storytelling, I can tell you is that storytelling is actually one thing which gives you a lot of creativity, innovation, and connectivity. We all don't know each other, but still we are getting connected. Yes or no? Are we getting connected or no? just by making a small short story? I believe yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now let's come up with this thing. Why do we tell stories? Stories can be used in many fields. Stories can be used in many fields. One, as we have seen just now, that stories bring us together. Without knowing each other, just working on a small story, we all have been connected with each other. We all have got some different conclusions, but have been working on one similar thought. Similarly, stories can be a very beneficial tool for teaching. When I need to teach my students a very difficult thing or a very difficult concept, I always go ahead with story. For example, I'll tell you something about today. I was talking about communication. I wanted to tell them that whatever you want to communicate shall be perceived in the same manner. I started with a story. I told them there was a major and who was giving command to his army. And that major told his army men, till the time I come here, I want you to complete all this. He said, yes, sir. Then Major said, I want you to take the remand of these people. Will you be able to do that? He said, yes, sir. Again, he said, and by the time I come here, I want that my mess shall be cleaned. Will you be able to do that? He said, yes, sir. And Major was very happy that, wow, he'll be doing everything. And he said, I'll be coming back after 2 hours and you need to complete it all. He said, okay. Major came back and he was very happy. He was very relaxed. He was like, okay, now everything will be in place. And that commando is so very understanding and he's going to do everything. But what happened? There is a twist. He came back and he said, nothing is done. He called that commando. He said, commando, come here. He was like, yes, sir. He was like, I asked you to do all these things. You haven't done anything. Yes, sir. I asked you to take the remand. Did you take remand of those commandos? Yes, sir. Where are they if you have taken the remand of those commandos? Yes, sir. And the louder was his yes, sir. Why is my kitchen not clean? Yes, sir. So this is a very simple. Why I'm telling you this example through storytelling is, this is a very simple way of teaching anything. And here a very simple outcomes comes out, that the way you are teaching, the way you are communicating, it shall be grabbed in the same manner. And their storytelling takes lots and lots of importance. Storytelling plays lots and lots of importance, because this is how we need to understand the need of our audiences, and we need to communicate it as well. So storytelling solidify abstract concepts and simplify complex messages. All right. Stories, they always inspire and motivate. We know it. We know it. You may talk about any good person. You may talk about any teacher. You may talk about any person who wants to tell our students, our teachers, our children something new. We always use biographies. We always use the story of our old leaders. Why do we do that? Because stories are the mediums through which you can inspire and motivate. And not only non-religious stories, but religious stories as well, as we all have. So these are the mediums through which you can inspire and motivate. So do you all agree with me? If yes, please show me some thumbs up. Put yes in the chat window so that I can go ahead and talk a little more about it. So can we do that? Yes? Very quickly, I'm waiting for this. All right. So I am reading some comments also here. Storytelling is an art and therefore requires uniqueness and creativity. Your creative voice sets you apart from the crowd. Thank you, Armina. Thank you. So great storytelling actually places impact in our lives, full of wisdom. Yes. So now we shall go ahead with that. So where all do we need stories, and why do we need stories? Let me tell you, my dear friends, that when you're gossiping with your colleagues about your bosses, when husbands are gossiping about their wives with their with their friends. When wives are gossiping about their husbands with their friends, believe me, we all are creating a story every time. Story is what? Story is full of emotions and words. That is all what we are doing. We all are great storyteller, master storyteller. Just we don't know how to use it. And that is what we are going to do today. So, story is our own part. We are born with this storytelling. When you go someone to drop to the door when they're leaving for their home, we sit there, we stand there and chat for hours. What is that? That is story. We're talking about something. But we just don't know that we are storyteller. And believe me, stories are ingrained in brain for always. When you see a movie, when you see a web series, what is that? Again, a story. And you remember that, you enjoy that because it captures your mind. So, storytelling can be a very, very important tool to educate people, right? Storytelling can be used for counseling. I personally use storytelling as a healing therapy. My one session that goes on ear to ear, which is a platform for ladies, I do a session there where I talk about healing through storytelling. And that is a regular session. Through storytelling, you can help a lot of people. You can help elderly people, you can help teenagers, you can help college goers, you can help professionals. And storytelling is the most important medium these days to heal people, to understand them, to motivate them. Now, storytelling is one of the very, very important part of parenting. Let me tell you this thing. If you want to teach your child something, if you want to inculcate some good habit in your child, if you want to build that connect with your child, and if you want your child to be creative, storytelling is an art which has to be there. If your child starts making stories with you, believe me, his brain is functioning very well. Storytelling works a lot on your brain, on your lobes of the brain. We know about VAC theory, which is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And storytelling in itself gives you all. Visual is when you make your child visualize that what is happening. The way I told you a story sometimes back, I make you visualize that how Major was scolding and what was happening. So that is visual part developing. Auditory is when you're talking, your child is listening that, he's developing that skill also. And kinesthetic is the mix of both, wherein you are involving visuals, you're involving practical as well, and you're doing that with storytelling with your child. You can even ask your child to draw that, and that is really going to give a lot of benefits. So in parenting, it is not only about developing creativity or back theory with your child, but it is also about making connect with your child, developing that emotions with your child, and making him learn a lot many things which are not otherwise being taught. Then let's come to teaching. I will tell you one thing that last year, I we were we from the parenting association we ran a carnival wherein we involved 350 speakers and from all over the world. In that carnival, I was one of the main storyteller. And there I tried to teach my students with just 15 minutes a story about the formation of a paper, that how paper was created, in which country it was created first, where the first factory was established, and what are the material used. And you all won't believe that in just 15 minutes of storytelling session, each of the important points were being remembered by the listeners, small listeners of 3 to 7 years of age, and through Facebook live session. So this is the power of storytelling, which if you incorporate in your teaching sessions is there. So I believe storytelling can be one of the most important tool for teaching and which shall be incorporated. I hope you all must be remembering that by our childhood, when we were children, the stories which you read, either of English, Hindi, or any of your local language, I am sure you must be remembering few of them till today. Do you remember? Yes or no? I'm sure you must be remembering few of the stories till today from your childhood. If you remember, you can say yes. And if you don't remember, say no. And if you remember any story from your childhood, please put the name or title of that story. There are many stories, I'm sure about it. And thank you for replying. Thank you for replying. Yes. So think over it. If you can remember that story from your childhood, and if we start teaching our students through that storytelling methodology, how impactful will our teaching turn? This we really need to think on, and we really need to talk about it. All right. Now, yes, the tortoise. Thank you, Mr. Charles. The tortoise. Yes, that is there. Still, it's there. So there are many such stories which we remember. And why? Because storytelling works on all the lobes of our mind, prefrontal, frontal, lobia, everywhere. It works through our brain. It plays through our brain. It knows how that our brain should work. And now the last important point, which I would like to cover of storytelling, I'll move, but we are talking about the usage of the storytelling. The three little pigs. Yes, Mohammed, the three little pigs, Mr. Mohammed. And wherein we saw that how one was very, active and could make its house, and but other two was not that active. So see how just thinking about these stories, we are getting happy. And this is a kind of happiness it is bringing in its own. But we are not trying to be happy. But yes, thinking these stories are making us happy. So that is the powerful of storytelling. Now, the last point where storytelling is used these days a lot is for selling. Brands are even trying to create stories to sell their brands. For example, you will see many jewelry brands. You will see many brands of households, of real estate, where they are trying to create stories to sell their brand. Advertisements has turned as more of the stories these days, which creates and connect with you, emotional connect, and where you tend to buy that brand. So see the power of storytelling. See the power of storytelling, how well it is there, how good it is there. Yes, we will come to 4 P's of storytelling also, but let's first understand that how storytelling goes and where all it is being used. All right. So if we talk about personal, professional, anywhere, storytelling is everywhere. Now, what makes a good story? First, your story has to be entertaining. It has to be engaging. If you're thinking that you need to provide some education from the story, but if you're making it very serious, very logical, very statistics pro, very number oriented, believe me, it will not be, nobody will be able to remember that story. Why? Because you need to create that interest. You need to make that brain function. You need to give your audiences what they want to have and how they want to have. So, one important part of storytelling is that story shall have all that spices which you need to serve to a platter to make it good, right? So, your story shall be entertaining, and it shall always have that suspense that what's coming next. Oh, yes, it is the one. So you shall always have that suspense, because that suspense is only going to keep your audience engaged. One. Second, your story shall be educational also. They shall have that message, because believe me, any educational story is being remembered for longer, because it adds to readers' knowledge bank and reader love to refer this. So that is very important, that your story shall be educational. Then your story shall be more kind of that it shall be relatable to everybody. It shall be universal. It shall not stick to a particular domain or a profile, because that increases the longevity of your stories. And your story need to be well organized. It need to have a proper body. It need to start. It need to make other person understand that what you're going to talk about. It need to tell you that what would be the structure and the conclusion which holds a message. And believe me, in between entertainment and entertainment, this is must from a storyteller. And your story can be anything. It can be about scandal, it can be humorous, it can be good stories, but it has to stick into the reader's mind with some important message. All right. Then 2CR. 2CR is very important in any story. I believe that there might be many teachers, many storytellers who are there. So I'm trying to give you this dosage of knowledge that 2CR is very, very important. One is characters. You need to define character of your story. Without character, you will not be able to add on emotions. You will not be able to add on ideation. You will not be able to add on the melody of the voice, which is very important for a storyteller. Because if your voice will have that melody, that tonality, that changes and variations, believe me, your story is going to be amazing. But if you'll be really straight, not going ahead with any tones or modalities, if you are just pouring with a straight tone, your story is not going to add on anything. So we need to have those characters which can make your stories interesting. Then conflict. There shall be a challenge. There shall be an issue which needs to be addressed. Why? Because each one of us love to be hero of our own. Each one of us tries to solve something, and each one of us loves to feel motivated. So there has to be one conflict, one challenge, one issue that has to be encountered, and end your story through resolutions, through solutions. And these solutions shall always be one which makes you happy, not the one which praises others. I hope I can clear this to you. Now, I wanted you all to create a story, but I'm not sure that how many can create story out of this image. But still, I would request you all that you can uh, take screenshot of this image, create a story, put in the comment window, and so that we all can see that how our perception varies. For me, my perception might be different with this image. For you, your perception might be different. And if you want to do it now, you can put your story now also, because we have understood that what are the important elements of story creation. So let's create a story now. And because I cannot talk to you, so I would like to move ahead now. And if anybody wants to create story, you can definitely put that in the chat window. Now let's talk about that what shall be the storytelling process. It is very important to understand that what kind of audiences you have. For example, if I am talking to you on the point of that how educative storytelling can be. So I know that with me there are various other educators, various other people who would like to understand the importance. But if I would not have been talking on these lines and I would have been talking on that how storytelling can help in selling process, probably it might turn offbeat. So it is very important that the kind of audiences you have, similar kind of story you need to tell to all. All right, am I clear on this part? Please keep showing your thumbs up, keep showing your hearts, and sending me yes or no, whatever it is. And if you agree to me, please put A in the chat window in your comment boxes. That will motivate me a lot. So I would like to hear everybody. Okay, so define your core message. It is very important that you shall give some of the core message. You shall talk about that what is your story about. So you shall have that core message from your story. All right, this is very important. And you need to decide what kind of a story you're going to tell. You cannot mix everything. You need to have that core message and the type of story you are telling. Thank you, Bhavnaji. Thank you, Innocent Dezang. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you. I'm so happy. Keep sending me A's and I'll be really happy about it. So, three things which is very important. You need to know your audiences, what kind of audiences you are going to cater. Define your core message, that what is the learning which will be coming out of your storytelling, and what kind of story you are going to tell. That is very important, and that is based on the type of your audiences you have. Now I have some research from National Geographic, and why I'm putting it here, something from National Geographic, because it adds that how important is storytelling, and that I really want you all to understand. And I have purposely not removed from here National Geographic, because I want to keep it as it is and want to tell you the source also. Hi Maria, hello from being I'm so happy that you are here from Romania. And now let's discuss this one important diagram, which is towards the end. First, that what are the good elements of the storytelling? Charles, I'll read your story. I got your story and I'm so happy to see your story. So first come that all storytelling shall have an idea. First is, what is your question? What is your idea? If I want to make a story around something, is it for telling to my child? Is it for teaching my students anything? Is it for promoting a brand? Is it for healing someone? Is it for counseling someone? What is my core idea? What is my importance of that storytelling? So first, that question has to be very, very clear in your mind. All right. Like here, I've mentioned few things. Is something happening in your community about which you want to create awareness? Is an issue that has been created in an event and you want to address? So that storytelling idea is very important. That question is very important, which will take you to another thing. Now, another thing is, your question shall be your idea of researching. When you're talking about research, which is your step 2, this is your idea of research. Basis your question, you shall research about you, that what is it you are going to talk through storytelling. Coming to 3, you need to understand, when you're coming to the third point, you need to understand that what is it, in which shape you want to put storytelling. What is the shape of your story you would like to give? Whether you want to create it a humorous story where people shall laugh like anything, whether you want to create it an emotional sad story, or whether you want to create it an intellectual knowledge story, or else you can use something which is connecting with the audiences more, selling your brand, creating a new image for your brand. Then embrace revisions. We can even call out people to talk about any one of the characters. We can even uh, repeat that character in our story to doing something else, and then take action and then create a story. So this is how a very, very small setup of storytelling we have learned today. A very basic idea of storytelling I've tried to tell you today. And I'm sure I have done justice with this storytelling, art of storytelling. Though I can tell you a one wonderful story also today, if time permits me. Do I have time to tell the story? If somebody from IIU can tell me, and if people want to listen, then only I can tell a story. And if you do not want to listen, then I may please wind up. So I need your yes or no. Okay. So I've got a story from Charles. In the meantime, you people are replying. I would like to know this. In the beginning, I will read. In the beginning, God created the heavens. Okay, I will tell this story. So Charles mentioned, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. This is how He has created that story that is so beautiful. So Dajang says, if you know your audience, you'll know the language to use. Absolutely, Dajang. If you'll know your audience, you'll know the language to use. That is very true. Thank you, Laila. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear from you. Okay, so I'm getting we wish to listen. So I will tell a very, very small story. Any characters you have in mind about which I shall tell you a story, or shall I go ahead on my own? Okay, I am going ahead on my own. I'll talk about a girl, innocent girl. Yes, Mohammed, I'm telling you the story. Okay, so here I talk about an innocent girl. It was a beautiful summer evening, and everywhere you could see that red and white flowers on that brown trunk, that beautiful red and white flowers with green leaves. It was all there. And that fragrance of fresh air was all in our nose. And it was just filling my heart. I heard a sound from my neighbor. There was a sound of a baby crying. Ah, ah, ah. And the baby was crying so in a so loving manner, in so affectionate manner. I couldn't stop myself, and I went there. I don't know what happened, but I just opened the door with a bang. And oh my God, what is it? A baby who is all alone. And her mother, I think she gave birth and she was no more. What do I do? I have no idea. What do I do now? Oh my God, it is such a painful situation. I cannot do anything. And this is a baby who is merely born. Her mother is not responding. Still, I tried to console myself. I thought, what do I do? Where do I go? That was the first encounter for me. But somehow I could gather that courage because I thought that I cannot drop this baby over here. And now this baby is my responsibility. So I gathered that courage. I moved on. I called few of the neighbors. Luckily, we had few neighbors. Amongst those, there were few elderly ladies. They said, don't worry, we'll take care of this baby. You just arrange doctor for her. That lady is still there. I arranged doctor. Till the time they could manage to get that female little consciousness. Oh my God, I was so relieved that now this lady is at least conscious. Doctor came in. Doctor took all the necessary actions. And doctor told that due to extreme hunger, she fainted after giving birth to the child. She couldn't had anything from days and years and months. It was such a sad situation that a lady who is going to work everywhere just for the small child who is all alone is facing such troublesome situation that after giving birth to a child she was all alone. And after that day I decided that I will not waste a single grain of food in my plate. And I ensured that that will go as a message from my part to my children, to the society, that there are many people that day, that lady could have died and that child must have turned orphan. Just why? Because she couldn't have that food to eat. But if we all, as a conscious effort, take this idea that we really need to understand the need of the people and we really need to use only the resources which is needed by us in spite of piling up to them, I'm sure we can give a better society. So this is what which goes from my story. And thank you everyone for being here, for listening to me. If you have any questions, any queries, any feedback, I'm here for 2-3 minutes more as per the instructions of IIU team, and you can ask me. So please go ahead if you have any questions. So thank you Isha, thank you Mohammed, thank you Charles, thank you Syed Hanifdin, thank you Kirit Kumar sir, thank you everyone. I'm so happy to see your comments. And now I would like to understand from Oprican, what do I need to do? Shall I stay here or shall I end the live session? How do I need to go? And I hope you all enjoyed this session and you all could get some better idea about the storytelling. And I could do this some justice to you all. Thank you so much. So yes, Ma'am Oprican, it's all yours. You may go ahead.